What's going on, everybody? Hello. Welcome to Feedback Friday. Today, Dylan in the building, Lucas in the building, Dan in the building. What's going on, Balgrime? First time here? Well, welcome on in. How's it going, folks? So for those of you that don't know, or for maybe it is your first time, like Balgrime's there, how does this work? Basically, you submit your art or your games or whatever to the community Discord channel under the feedback section, and make sure you tag it as Feedback Friday. And if you do, we'll check out your work if we get there. Usually there's a lot of work and we don't get through all of it because I only stream for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe a little bit longer. But that's just how it goes. So that's what we're going to do. What up, Pop Thieves? How you doing? Aurelius, what up? How you doing? It's your first time as well? Nice. Well, good to have some first timers here. What's going on, USA team? Hello from Ukraine. How's it going? Hello, Ukraine. Hello from wherever I am in the world. I forget. What am I? Who am I? I don't know. But anyway, we're just going to jump into this, folks. Pretty simple. I'll show you. Give me a sec. Fixing some things. No Twitch today? No. Feedback Friday. Feedback Friday is usually now on the YouTube, just so I can automatically have the video up there live. Though it might change in the future, I'm not sure. It just depends how much interest there is to keep it on the YouTube. Like if there isn't that much interest to keep it on the YouTube, then I'll just go back to Twitch. It really just depends. It really just depends. That's why I signed my paintings. Aurelius. Oh, Aurelius, got you. But you did great. I tried my best. Right, folks. Hope everyone's had a good week. The weekend is nigh. Let's check out some work to open up this weekend, shall we? What up, Mr. Wizard? How you doing? Okay, so here's how it works for those of you that don't know. Bing, that's me. So this is the feedback section. You literally just click on new post, give it a title, be as specific as you can with the feedback that you're trying to look for, maybe, or the intention of the thing that you're looking for, and then just click Feedback Friday. Simple as that. If you didn't click Feedback Friday, if you've already posted some work and you didn't click Feedback Friday, make sure you right-click your post, edit tags, and you can add the Feedback Friday thing in there. If you can't, just repost it. Delete your post, repost. How are you? I'm doing pretty good, thanks. My week's been kind of crazy. I've basically just been at work all week, apart from Wednesday. I was going into work. I cycle into work usually, by the way. And I was going into work and I got hit by a car off my bike. So I was in hospital actually on Wednesday. Fortunately, no major injuries, just some cuts on my arm from the glass and like hematomas basically. They thought my arm might have been broken, but it's all good. It's all good. It's just hematomas and big bruises on my leg basically. So yeah, kind of a mad week. Was it a Mercedes? No. This stupid little white car. Glad to hear. Okay, thank you, Dylan. BMW. I like how you're all putting the makes. No. I can't remember what the make was actually, but yeah, I think it was just like a little Polo, like a Volkswagen Polo thing. Oh, it's all smashed up now. But I'm good. Did you shave your mustache? I did. Yeah. I usually keep it kind of clean these days. I used to grow it, my like beard out a little bit. But I kind of just start to feel a little bit messy, a little bit dirty, you know what I mean? So just start clean shaving a bit. Okay, so where did we get up to last time? I do remember we did talk about these. We talked about the tanks, definitely. So I don't think we have to talk about the tanks now, although there's some here that I don't recognize. So did we skip forward to the tanks or something? I can't remember now. I can't remember if we skipped forward to the tanks or what happened here. Where were we? Does anyone remember? I can't remember personally. Did we look at that one? We did. We looked at these. You skipped forward indeed. Okay. Character shading. I mean, this is a while back. So let's come back here. There's the tanks. Oh, that must have been the initial tank posting. Okay, because we got to there, we did that, we played this game. We played this game as well, didn't we? Psych Path, yes. And we got to about here. So actually there's a lot of... I thought there was way less work. Okay. There's a lot of work to go. a lot of work to go. So I think we're here now, if I'm right. I think we're here. So yeah, let me just unclick these things for the ones that I haven't actually looked at. So we've basically looked at that one. I haven't looked at them. I don't know why I've clicked at these, because I haven't looked at them yet. Okay, so we're here now. Tiny no combat Metroidvania I made solo except for the music a couple of years ago. Here we go. What up, Marge? How are you doing today? So here we're starting off with a little game today, it looks like. Here we go. Let me put my headphones on, see if there's any music for this. Whoa! It's loud. Now it's not as loud. Let me know if it's too loud for you folks. Let's play. Let's go. 10, 9, okay, okay. 8, 7, 6. Okay, so it looks like it's like an automatic movement where you only get a certain amount of jumps. That's an interesting idea. Face plant it's kind of like a mixture of face plant plus nice, got some honey, plus minute. I don't know if any of you have ever played Minute. It's an interesting concept. Let me just make this a bit larger. Large? Wow, we're large. You had the most painful massage? Is a massage supposed to be painful? I'm okay, thanks. I was just talking about my week there. I was just talking about my week. I was cycling into... What the heck? So that's the map. I was cycling into work on Wednesday and got hit by a car. So I am no longer cycling into work. I'm all good though. Thankfully. Only minor injuries. 3, 2, 1, dead. What's your favorite game engine? Godot is my favorite game engine. I know, I'm not gonna make this, am I? No. Ouch, I know. There was a car in the road, stationary on the left side of the road, and I was like, okay, it's driving into its drive on the left side of the road. Turns out its drive was actually on the right side of the road. So when I went past on the right, I don't understand this game, firstly. I got hit, basically, because they didn't see me. And... oh, here we go. Okay, there's more paths. They didn't see me and I just got hit. Okay, so this is interesting. It's an interesting little Metroidvania. What the heck? Okay. Okay. What's up, Talaba, by the way? It's an interesting little Metroidvania. It makes you think a little bit. I don't really like thinking usually. Thinking is like my weak suit. Not my strong suit, that's for sure. Music's kinda nice. The music sounds kind of piratey. No way. No way! I'm never gonna make it now. I'll just stay in limbo forever. Okay. Yeah, interesting idea. I mean, feedback-wise, you should need to trust in your fellow man to survive in traffic, I know. I'm so glad you're not injured by it. Yeah, the doctor said I was very, very lucky, actually. Because when I hit when the back reversed in, I was going like fairly fast, maybe like 15 miles an hour. Okay. I've played enough of this. I've played enough. I get the premise. Let me finish off my story first. It's a strong, bold head. Yeah, exactly. Only slight concussion, nothing too crazy, with just cuts from the glass, the smashed glass, and just a huge, like, bruises, like hematomas. Easy win. Yeah, the doctor's like, you're super lucky you didn't, like, land on your neck or anything. Because I can't remember. I remember flying into the air, and then I can't remember much past that, and then I was, like, sitting up on the grass. Crazy. I'll tell you that, like, so here's the road, right? Or the road was going down like this, and there's cars on this side, kind of like that. And I was cycling down. There's a two-way road, like two-way road. I was cycling down, and then I saw this car horizontal here, and this is the path. And there's there's like trees in the path there. And, well, not there. That's part of the story. So I was cycling down here, and I was like, oh, okay, they're completely stationary. They must be driving into their house. Like, that's what I thought in my head. So I was like, okay, there's plenty of room, like a whole other side of the road here. So I was like, I'll cycle in here. And I went as far right as I could. And as soon as I went like this, as soon as I made this move, the car started to reverse, and it was too late. Like, at this point, it was too late. And I was like, ah, shit, what do I do? My two options were hit the tree head on, which I really didn't want to do, or just try and squeeze past. But the car was reversing so fast that I ended up getting hit off, and then, like, flew over here. And I went through some of the branches in the tree, and I ended up here. And what they were trying to do, apparently, was reverse into their drive, and they mustn't have checked. And I have right of way. If you're a cyclist, you have right of way. Cyclists and pedestrians have right of way. Guess I'll die. Yeah, basically. It was very scary, but I survived. So, no cycling for a while, though. No cycling for a while because my the front wheel of my bike is misaligned and stuff. So, yeah. In America, we have to become a meth dealer for 6 years to afford the hospital. Yeah, I'm glad I have free healthcare. Glad you're okay. Thank you, Victor. But yeah, Feedback Friday today. So that game that we've just played, it's like it's a decent idea. I didn't find it that fun personally. So basically, the game that we've just played, it's an auto movement thing. I think the actions kind of work against the auto movement, because there are some places in the level design where it feels kind of unfair almost. I know you've probably routed it in such a specific way that some of the routes that I was going just felt wrong. Like, I was going down here and immediately into, like, fire or something, and it was like, but I was, like, just touching it, but if you jumped, like, slightly early, you're going there. So it's not very clear whether, like, I'd have to use an action there, because obviously everything that you do uses an action. Use an action there to avoid the fire, and I don't really know. You have 12 button presses, right? Or just jumps? 12 button presses. So it's like a change in direction or a jump. In some places it was like, well, can you jump and change direction? Like, can you jump first and then, like, change midair, which you can do. So I don't know. Like, it's an interesting idea. I just personally didn't have that much fun playing it. Controls wise, I found it a little bit annoying. The character moves by itself. I feel like using a limited resource to get around is interesting enough. Yeah, the character moves by itself. Yeah, I mean, what it is, it's faceplant plus minute essentially, except instead of, apart from you have a minute to move, you have certain amount of moves. You know what I mean? Perhaps it would be better if, rather than being like a counter, I mean, it's difficult to say really, isn't it? Difficult to say. I don't really know. It's more like a puzzle game at first glance. Yeah, it's more like a puzzle game, but it kind of relies on your... It's that thing of, like, double genre problem, right? Where you have, like... You have the actual jumping, the like, fine platforming, and you have puzzle elements. The puzzle Metroidvania. And that... Like, it's hard enough to just make a flying platformer, and it's really hard to make a a Metroidvania. You know what I mean? So like a fine platformer and a Metroidvania. Like if you look at something like Hollow Knight, I wouldn't say Hollow Knight has the best platforming. I think Hollow Knight's platforming is good enough for its Metroidvania. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't do too much on the jumping. It's not like you have like super crazy variable jumps or anything like that with Hollow Knight. And Hollow Knight's one of the best Metroidvanias out there. Thanks for subscribing, Socks. Appreciate it. Can you explain it in pixel art? Yeah, so basically, right, I was going down the road and then I had to adjust my line. There were too many I had to adjust my straight line became a curved line. But then this eraser went into my path and caused a lot of jaggies in my side. And I landed next to a tree. You know about the platforming sections in Hollow Knight? Yeah, I have seen that, but that's like way late though, Zai. Like that's almost like an extra. You know what I mean? That's almost like, okay, you're so good at the game now, here's an extra bonus. But this game from the start, the one that we've just played, is like, okay, you've got the platforming and you've got the Metroid and you've got everything all at once. Here's everything all at once, you know? Which is why it feels a little off, like the controls don't feel too fun. I think you experienced what Faceplant experiences, yeah. Got to get one of them in at least, right? How's it going, Zai, by the way? How you doing? I think the game needs more feedback why you lose time or steps, because it took me a while to realize turning around also removes numbers. Yeah. Yeah, a little bit more feedback would help there as well. You tested your own medicine. Yeah, unfortunately. Never again, actually. Never again would I like to do that. But overall, it's a nice game. Overall, a decent idea. Played this on stream. Though has some issues. In my opinion, played this on stream. Okay, cool. Let's move on. Next up, I think it's a nice first prototype. You could yeah, I agree. I agree. There's a lot of potential there. You know, a lot of potential. Get some playtesters in, see what's most fun. I made my first game, but it's a freemium mobile game, pixel art inspired. So I'm going to submit it in the Discord. No worries at all. Fun watching the project so far. Yeah, let's go. Jokes aside, glad you're safe. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I feel very lucky to be healthy. I feel very lucky to be healthy. Almost scared to get back on the bike, you know, because I don't want that to happen again. Or I don't want anything worse than that, because I've been cycling in for only the past couple of weeks. And because I only started a couple of weeks ago. And I've had a couple like near misses as well. I've had a couple near misses with cars, and I was just like, one day is gonna be bad. And that was bad, but not that bad in the end. So I would hate for it to be much worse. But the UK roads, I don't think they're meant for cycling, man. They're really just not meant for cycling at all. Such a shame. People in cars are horrible. The person in that car will also still live on that road. I know, like that is the route. That's the route that I have to go on, and I'd have to cycle past that place the whole time. I might just like get off the bike and walk walk past that area. It's funny, the person who did it actually, they had crashed. They were like in hysterics basically, and they were like, oh my god, my husband's gonna kill me, the car just came back this morning because I'd reversed it into a wall the previous week. And I was just thinking in my head, you should not be driving. You should not be driving. I've had 3 bad accidents on my bike. One time I cracked the back of my helmet in half. Yeah, good job you're wearing the helmet. That could have been your head. Still though, I like to bike, but carefully and away from cars. Me too, but there's like the routes here. So there's 2 routes to work, right? There's 2 routes on the way to work. One of them is by the river, okay? One of them is by the river. And this one, there's no cars there. It's really, really nice. The problem is when the tide's in, it's underwater. So I can't use that. And the other one, the other route, is by all of the cars. I mean, you can cycle on the path there because it's like it's a mixed pedestrian and cycle path, but even the pedestrians are a problem. So many people, right? I've noticed when I'm cycling, so many people are just looking at their phones, and I'm like ringing my bell. I'm ringing my bell. I'm ringing the bell. I'm like, bing, bling, bling, bling. Like, get the out my way. You're on a cycle, a mixed cycle path. And they're just like, on my phone, TikTok, funny lol. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's enough of my rant. That was me. I tried to kill you to steal faceplant. Oh man, I haven't worked on faceplant in like 2 weeks, man. My gear skipped and I went over the handlebars. Hard to trust the bikes, to be honest. Oh my goodness. American roads aren't good for cycling, are they not, Chris? I'd imagine. Yeah, but the American roads are like super wide though, right? At least. Just move to the Netherlands and cycle here. I would like to actually, but I mean, money. Give me the money too, and I will. And in the Netherlands, we just have bicycling roads. You don't have those? No, no. There are normal roads. Okay, there are normal roads, and there are like cycle sections on the side in some roads. Like if this is the path, there are like cycle sections on some of the roads, but cars just go through them. Doesn't matter. And also sometimes they're part of the path as well, but they're really, really bad. And the roads are very, very close, and drivers really hate cyclists here. They really do. Like I've been driving, like I've been learning to drive so that I don't die on my bike. And I give cyclists all the time in the world because I'm like, I do not want to, you know, I do not want to do that. Giving the money on Twitch, one drop in the bucket at a time. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They are wide, but in America there's this get out of the road mentality, but at the same time, where are you supposed to go? Yeah. On my American road, it was old Spanish trails, so tight roads. It was either ride with the cars. Fair enough. They hate cyclists in America. Why is that? I mean, it's just annoying. Depends on the city, but in my experience, cycling in the Netherlands is a pretty good experience. Yeah, I've heard that. I mean, there are just dedicated cycle routes. Like there are some dedicated cycle routes. There is dedicated cycle routes in the UK, but like I said, the one that I'm supposed to use for work is underwater. But anyway, next up, Pop Thieves Vertical Parallax. Nice. I think this looks cool. I think it could use some like layering, maybe. This is cool. I think the parallax could use a little more layering with the stars. They seem to travel at the same time. Not sure if it's too fast. It doesn't really give a sense of depth. Maybe hard to tell from the GIF. Yeah, maybe it's a little bit hard to tell from the GIF, but like it kind of just feels like they're all moving at the same speed. I think it's probably because these three layers here, like the light, mid-ground, dark, like cloudy type stuff, nebula type stuff, they're all moving at the same rate. I was lazy and have everything but the planet on the same rate of movement. Yeah, I think it will help add a lot of depth. Because you notice how the planet comes in there and it obviously is at a different rate. I think you'll add so much... Like, the problem is it looks quite flat. And space isn't really flat, right? So you need some sort of foreground, midground, background parallax with different rates. That if you're using A-Sprite, there is a parallax tool. There is a parallax tool that you can use that can easily set all of that up for you. You just have to break it down into layers. Feels a bit fast for space, says Talaba. Yeah, maybe a little bit fast for space. Depends if you want to be like hype speed. And the final thing that I'd mention is please, please, please put this spaceship central. Please put the spaceship in the center. It is a really cool ship design though, definitely. Very, very cool. Thanks for the subscribing, Autumn. But yeah. What up, Doc? How are you doing today, Doc Turd? But thanks for sharing, Pop Thieves. It's really cool. It's a really nice style. The colors are solid. Like everything is solid about it style wise. Just centralize that ship. Add some layers. It's really weird because in Sprite it's dead center, but when I look at the GIF or WebP, it's off. You don't know why. I'm not sure. Maybe it's like exporting more than you think or whatever. Who's this? The one and only legend? Yes, it is. It's Ghost Lupo. Ghost Lupo's here, everybody. Let's check this one out. This artwork is from the game League of Legends in September colors. Saw an opportunity to draw it on September 2023 as my custom art. Do you have any suggestions to make it better? Here's the original photo that I made as a reference. Okay, so here's the reference pic that we got. Boom. And this is the September piece. I mean, overall, I'd say really, really good job, you know? Hold on, I'm going to do this in Clip Studio, actually. What up, Rude and Sprites? Hey, soldiers, you critiquing trailers? If yes, do I have to send it via Discord? I'm critiquing all things. All things. Art, game, dev, whatever. You have to submit it in the Discord under the feedback section. Whether we'll get to yours today, I'm not sure. It really depends on how many we get through. I've decided, by the way, last week we had a little bit of problem with people like begging for their work to be found and looked at and all that stuff. I've decided to ignore all beggars. Because I think the fairest thing is just to do it in order of when they were posted. Unless you pay like 100, then maybe I will. How you feeling? Feeling much better, thanks, Lupo. Yeah, feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good. We were just talking about that earlier, actually. The getting hit by a car thing. I mean, come on, dude. I can pay 100 Monopoly money. Nice. That's fair. Here's $100. Nice, Mr. Wizard. Yeah, I feel much better. How are you doing, Lupo? What's been going on? You been running? You been working out? Or you been chilling? Okay, so basically, what you have to do is... What up, Chiptune Kirby? This is really cool. I think you've taken a really nice reference and you've done it in your own style. So that... You saw nothing. You've done it in your own style, obviously with the September colors, but the way that you've used the September colors is really cool. You had team building with work today? What the heck? What does that mean? I actually can't remember how to do... There it is. What do you have to do for team building? You've used the colors nicely in a way which is... the values make sense. Oh, the red and the blue are really close in value, aren't they? You went laser shooting after that dinner? That sounds awesome. That sounds really cool. I want to go laser shooting. Any activity, really? Got you, got you. That sounds sick. Did you win? I remember I went to one of those like laser tag places when I was a kid. And there were just kids running around with like holding the plate, because where it worked when I went, they you have to shoot the thing on their chest, and they'd like go around holding the thing on the chest, just shooting everyone. But you could just melee them, right? Was awesome. You never did that before? That sounds sick. Was it like was there many people doing it, or like your whole team and like other people, or just your team? All that Valorant is pitted off. You're like jiggle peeking and stuff. You like using abilities. My fingers are itching to dither, but I guess it's a style choice. Yeah, dither's a style choice. I think I feel the same thing, but I don't think it's necessarily dither. I think it's the fact that I think the reason I feel the same thing is because the shadow is so much, you know? There's so much shadow there. Whereas on this piece, if you look at it, I actually will do it actually. If you break down this piece here into actual planes of shadow, obviously you can do what you want. But if I just mosaic this a little bit, notice how actually there's not that much shadow, you know? There's not that much shadow in this piece if you just take the a simplification of it, right? And here it's like blocked out maybe a little bit too much, especially around this side of the face, because this side of the face is mostly lit actually. This side of the face is mostly lit. Probably light it up a little bit more. Obviously I'm wrecking everything with the colors and stuff, but just how you can see the change in the colors here. Let me simplify even more. Let me mosaic even more. Are you going to do more game making tutorials? What game making tutorial would you like to see? I'm making a video at the minute. It's taking a little bit longer than I'd expected. I'll show you it actually. I'm making a video at the minute. I've just finished the storyboard for it, and I've done maybe about a third of the drawing that's needed for it. So I've still got a bunch of drawing. You had some beers, so don't mind the typos. Nice. What you been drinking? So I've been doing the old thumbnail for this, not thumbnail, sorry, the storyboard for the drawings that I need, basically. But I'm about a third of the way through. You can see the timeline here. There are 65 individual drawings that I need, and I've done quite a bunch of them, so it won't take that long. What up, Kirby? How you doing? T Kirby. Hello, new to your channel. Really enjoying your videos. What's up, Brandon? Also just beat the Metroidvania. That was a great game. Well, I'm glad you liked it. Zai, leave them some feedback if you got it. 4v5 just our co-workers. Sounds sick. Whoever loses has to do the dishes at work. Debasish. Difficult name. Sorry, Debasish. How you doing? Carrot Boy. You looking great. Thanks, Carrot Boy. It's good that you're eating your carrots, Carrot Boy. So yeah, that's probably what I'd say. Just be careful of where exactly all of your shadow is, because it's quite high contrast in terms of the tone, but overall the style looks really sick. So it just depends on what you're going for, I think. Like if you completely mosaic this without ruining the thing, you'll see what I mean by like the areas which are light and the areas which are dark. You know what I'm saying? In terms of value structure. But I hope that was useful to look at it in that way. Overall, I think it's a very unique style and you've used the colors really well. I think actually it helps a lot because there's not just the value, but there's the luminosity, right? Because even though the value of the red here, is the same value basically as the blue, it's essentially identical. I mean, you can't really tell the difference because the red kind of stands out more and appears lighter, which is to do with the luminosity of the color, right? I make a game with hand-drawn style characters. How big can I make my animation sprite sheets performance-wise? Oh, I have no idea, Balgrime. It really depends on your game, I'd imagine. Depends on your game, it depends on the engine. Like, I've never really done a hand-drawn sprite sheet before. That's not something I've run into, but I know there are ways to optimize those things, like sprite atlases, depending on what you're doing. I know you can like create a sprite atlas and you can at least depend on, that's in Unity. I'm not sure what engine you're using. I know Godot has ways to like pool art assets and stuff as well into one thing, so you're not using too much video RAM, or you're not decreasing the performance from always loading in different types of art or whatever. Not sure. Best thing is to just try it out, I guess. Try it out, experiment with it. See if you get some performance drops. I'm kind of the believer that like you don't need to optimize something until you need to optimize something. You know, but that's not very good anyway. Not very good thingy. I'd say make them first and worry about performance after. Yeah, that's what I'd say. Talked about this on stream. Okay, next up, let's go. Honest opinion, please. Oh, sorry, you can't see. Art I recently made because I was extremely bored. Is there anything to improve? Mines. I mean, what resolution is each animation cell? That's probably a good place to start. Yeah, it's kind of like if you're doing pixel art, like is it 16 pixel character? How many 16 pixels characters can you fit in the window resolution size? That kind of thing. Probably a decent place to start with that. Okay, so this is the artwork. If it's a 4K, yeah, you're probably screwed. I'm noticing that the hard way with this next video because most of the assets that I'm drawing for the animation are 4K so that I can like zoom in and stuff or create like camera moves, and my video editing software is crying. It's crying. Just follow best practices, but don't let optimizations get in the way. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of how I see it. And if you can follow best practices if you know them as well. If you don't know them, you will learn them eventually, and you might have to refactor things and change things. I think that's just part of being a beginner, right? Just part of being a beginner. You can't possibly know everything from the start, so just make something, figure out what the problem is, and then continue. Like those brick walls, right? Those brick walls of game development or any project. But anyway, what they were asking, is there anything to improve? I mean, I don't know what the intention is. They said they just drew it because they were bored. I think it's a very interesting piece. That way to the mines. I'm just curious about it, to be honest. Like I don't know really what I would give in terms of feedback. I mean, I don't think there's any point looking at like grayscale values or anything like that. It's actually kind of interesting how if you look at the values for this is super light against a dark background. But actually when you look at it like this, because of the color, it doesn't stand out as much. That's kind of interesting. I want to control the digger machine. I don't like the font on mines. Yeah, it looks like it's just a hand-drawn thing. Maybe I don't like the spacing of it, like how it's so low down. But I mean, other than that, looks kind of cool. Looks like I'm interested, you know? I'm interested more than I am, more than I have questions, I'm interested more than I have critique for it, because I'm not really sure what the goal is. You just wanted to make something. Maybe it would be cool to see like some texture in this tunnel shaft wherever they're driving, you know? Maybe are they in rock now? Like where are they? Those are my questions I have. I guess let's talk about that. Maybe the storytelling side of it. Like, where are they right now? What's going on? They're driving towards the mines. Okay, what is this section tunnel that they're in? What's the important thing here? What are we trying to look at? What are we trying to learn? Are they on a planet? They look like they're on some strange planet with the purple grass. That's kind of cool. There isn't really a focus, you know? It's kind of like a snapshot of a world, which you don't always need a focus. But other than that, like, I don't really know much else of what I can say. Maybe it needs a little bit of shadow in places. I don't know. I don't know what the intention is, so I can't give you some feedback. I don't know what the full intention is, so I can't give solid feedback, but we spoke about this on stream anyway. Looks cool. Keep it up. Drill machine should be before the ore buckets, unless it's like Pac-Man and it's like the drill is going after the rocks. Considering storytelling, why are they carrying rocks towards the mine? Maybe this is like a reverse mining section. Maybe this is a reverse mine where actually there's a bunch of lava that needs to be filled in with rocks, and then the drill is used to drill the rocks back into the holes. Maybe that's right. A restoration project. Yeah. We've taken enough rocks. It's time. We've taken enough rocks. It's time to put the rocks back. 87, 88, 89, 90. Where are the rest of these rocks? They've already placed them out there. Put little screwdriver holes on every rock, like what are those teeth called? Implants. What up, Waters? Waters in the building. How you doing today? How's it going? Not bad, thank you. Not bad. How you doing today? Screw them back in place one by one with the drill. Yeah, this is the screwdriver drill. I like that idea. See, it's invoking some sort of mystery. I like that. Okay, next up, folks. Leo Staffer, who says, I don't know, general feedback. Finished the Epic Squad. A finished version. Okay, so they've finished it. Let's give them feedback on this. Let's see, did they say anything else? Personally, Osh is my favorite. My personal complaints, hands on the chef, faces, but I guess it's given since it's too small. Lack of females. There's 1:6 female ratio compared to my 0 in real life. Nice. I mean, hands, what are you going to do at that size, really? You know what I mean? Hands are so... What are you going to do with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pixels, basically? How can you really make a hand with 5 pixels? I think, given the space that you've got, I think you've done a decent job. Let's just look at this from afar. I always try and look at these things from afar. They seem quite clear and readable from afar, you know? They have strong silhouettes. The poses are quite nice. This pose is always kind of funny to me, like holding a sword on your shoulder. It seems like the worst place to put a blade, like right next to your neck. Not too bad. Trying to get the art ball rolling. Was planning on watching all your streams this week. Technically, I managed it. Nice. Yeah, sorry about the lack of streams on Twitch this week, folks. Monday, I was at work until 9 p.m. And Wednesday, I got hit by a car. So, what can you do? What can you do? What up, Kim and Ed? How you doing today? One slip away from heaven. Yeah, take us to Valhalla. I like the Archer guy. Yeah, I think the Archer's guy's pose is like quite ominous, right? Again, with the faces, they said they're not sure what to do, but I think the only thing that looks off maybe is a little bit of inconsistency with the style of the face. Like, are eyes one big or are they too big? I think keeping that consistent will help them fit a little bit more. Unless, you know, and also like, I guess it gives you a little bit of variation with the characters, but personally eyes is something I would try and keep consistent among characters, personally. But again, style choice thing. At that size, I usually blend the hands closer to the size of the arm. I notice some of the larger are smaller and mostly try to imply the wrist from the shading. Get you, yeah, I get you. There's quite a lot of detail in these little things, which is quite impressive, actually. You can switch the characters around for better composition, yeah. And also, they said they had a different female ratio. What's stopping this one from being a female, or this one? They could be females too. There you go. You've just added 2 females to your roster. Like, female doesn't always just mean curves and girl hair. You know what I mean? Look at Metroid. Samus, whatever her name is, Aran. Samus Aran. Anyone played Mario, by the way? Anyone played the new Mario? He's got a mischievous look to him, like he'll stab you in the ass with his fork. This dude knows all about that buffet, right? This dude knows all about the buffets coming up. There's a big ass bowl of spaghetti. It's just like, get some of that sauce on there. What up, Pixel Toast? Glad I can make the stream. Hope you're doing okay after Wednesday. Yeah, doing much better, thanks. How you doing today? There's a new Mario? Yeah, Mario Wonder. I mean, Dylan played it together. You played it, Wizard? Dylan, that's cool. My kid wants to play Mario Wonder, but he has to wait till the holidays. Yeah, I was so close to copping it today. I was going to pick it up, I was going to buy it, and I was going to play it. Maybe I should. Job, I know, right? Job wars. How you been, Waters? So how's your art? What you been trying to make art wise? Now I want spaghetti, so do I, but I also I don't just want any spaghetti, I want giant spaghetti. No. But overall I think these designs are good. I think you've got some strong designs here for such a small size. Yeah, the thing I would think about, like I said, is just the consistency with shapes in the eyes. Don't worry too much about detail, you know. At this size, be careful about the detail contrast. Like this wooden stick has a lot of detail and it shows that it's wooden, but then other areas are quite simple, and be wary that causes contrast. Like that causes a difference, which leads your eye to things which stand out, which are different, you know. Giant spaghetti is udon. I do like udon. But overall, really cool style. So I'm going to say overall, well, what up, Mustafa? The sword is made of plastic. It's okay to hold it like that. got you. Mustafa's in the comments. Talking about this on stream. There you go. Next up. Cocoon looks pretty awesome. I finished it and really love the art. Yeah, I've seen that. I didn't know what it was, though. I didn't know what it was. So I'm gonna have to check that out because it did look pretty sick. Okay, where are we up to now? Where are we up to? There is so much art. There is so much art. This one. Insight box art newest version in the comments. Oh my god, people are updating their work. I think if you let's check this out. I'm working on the box art of a game I'm making with a friend. Is this you, Dylan? Dylan and Mr. Wizard. You bought Cocoon but you haven't started yet. What is it about? What kind of gameplay is it? It's a puzzle game? Okay. What is your top indie game in terms of artwork? Oh, I got a lot. I like a lot of different... like, the style that I like a lot is, like... This was one of my favorite games for a while, like, visually. The actual game is not that bad. It's okay. It's not, like, amazing, but visually, one of my favorite games is Bomb Chicken. I think it's just a beautiful looking game. Very simple, yet detailed. Fun little game as well. Cartoony, obviously. I like cartoons, so... But they did, this is Nitrome. Nitrome do a lot of, like, mobile games. You probably played, like, Super Leap Day and stuff like that. It obviously looks trash on here because for some reason the quality is really bad. But the pixel art's really nice and cartoony. Detailed for still being small. Yeah, I did like Bomb Chicken. I like Minute, obviously, Downwell, most of the Devolver stuff, Gato Roboto. Like, my style, I think my preferred style is just, like, small, chunky. Like, small, chunky, I like. I like that a lot. I'm not too, like, I think obviously it's impressive when something is, like, hyper real, kind of, like, what am I thinking of? Like, Owl Boy? Like, obviously that's really impressive, like, blasphemous. It's impressive, but it's not my favorite style, personally. I think I prefer, like, a cartoon style, because I think cartoons, I think a cohesive cartoon style, I personally find that harder to make than, like, a hyper-real style. Because you really, the person, when you make a cohesive cartoon style, you really have to think about the balance between the shapes. And that's something I find, like, incredibly impressive. Soultoons likes cartoons, yeah, basically. Not too hard, but satisfying and new ideas. Oh, okay, cool. I'll probably check it out then, Kevin Nerd. After all, this channel isn't called Soul Realism. Could be. Mio Staffer, what up? How you doing? Thanks for submitting your work. Let's move on to this one. Updated version, another update, more updates, the updated version, newest version. Here's the new demo of the game, new versions with new demos and new stuff. So this is your box art. Okay. Let's take a look at this. I do love looking at box art. Box art's one of my favorite things. Box art's one of my favorite art things to do. Is there an even more new one? Is what I need to know before I answer this one. Very whip box art. Box art, new box art. No, okay, cool. You also posted an animation of the archer and also changed the archer a little bit, but that's a bit higher above. Probably won't see it on the stream. Well, we'll check it out when we get to it, Mio Staffer. Interesting reason. What do you mean, Majd? You like Amanita design style. Let me check that out. Amanita. Design in Samarost 3. I've never seen Samarost 3. Is this a pixel art game? Ooh, this is nice. This is a nice looking game. What is it? What is it? Like a point and click? Looks like a point and click, maybe. $2D art, maybe? Yeah, 2D looking art. It kind of looks like Photoshop art. Like photo bashed textures. It's a masterpiece, point and click. Got you. Yeah, they look like photo bashed textures. Photoshop, high detail. The character's cool. This is nice. It reminds me a lot of Mad God. You ever seen the film Mad God? I think it's just because of the, like, eerie nature of it. Yeah, this is cute. Looks nice. Looks nice, looks nice, looks nice. Okay, let's move on to this. So, right. Box art. One of my favorite things ever to do when I was younger was to go into the video game store. Because this is how... I didn't have internet when I was a kid, right? So how did we find out about new games? Well, this is what we did. Me and my brother would spend hours, and I'm talking hours, in Blockbuster. Spend hours in Blockbuster. My mom would absolutely hate taking us there because we'd spend hours there, and we'd just be like, just look, just pick us up later. We will stay here, and we will look at every single video game. And you get like the little PlayStation 1 or Sega or whatever, Sega Mega Drive stuff as well. And you'd pick up, firstly, you would be drawn by the box art. Whatever's on this side, okay? If this looks interesting, you pick up the box. And if that is interesting, you read the back. And then you read the back, and there was like little bits of the gameplay on there. You'd see tiny little screens of gameplay with like a little blurb about what it was about and stuff. And then you wouldn't buy it because games were expensive. We didn't have any money. But you'd be like, whoa, this game looks sick. I absolutely love box art. Steam obviously has box art in the sense of... Steam has box art in the sense of its, what's this called on the right here? The capsule image, which is the first thing that people will see of your game. Very much like when they walk into the store. This is the very, very first thing that people are going to see. So this is actually incredibly important. Like, this is so important for the sales of your game, you know? It's a shame Blockbuster closed down. I worked there once, worked for a games company that owned them. Oh, Rudin, you worked at a Blockbuster. That must have been sick. Was it? What was the Blockbuster game store called? I can't remember. Game Station? It wasn't Game Station, was it? Not Granger Games. It wasn't Granger Games. I know it wasn't that. It was Game Station. Only for one day. Ah. Yes, Game Station. I remember that. That was sick. Stephen Rose. Sultans has a great voice. Thank you very much, Stephen. Appreciate you. How you doing today? Game Station owned them. Did they actually? Okay. Such a bummer if the instruction book was in black and white. Tell me about it. You'd open that sucker up in the back of the bus or in the car on the way home, and you'd read the instruction booklet. Reading the instruction booklet was more fun than playing the game. But by the time you got home and played the game, you knew everything about the game. And I love instruction booklets. What up, Brad? How you doing today? Dude, I had a Rolls Royce as a working family. Like, oh yeah, of course. Yeah, we were super rich. Yeah, no, definitely not. I was a Game Station employee and had to go there to help out. Ah, I got you. I liked Game Station. That's where I'd spend most of my time. You just realized it's basically the YouTube thumbnail of Steam. Dun, 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 dun. Yes, exactly. You're exactly right. It's the YouTube thumbnail of Steam. It's the marketing image. It's the first thing that people are going to see of your product. So this needs to do a couple of things. One, it needs to be high quality, I'd say. It needs to be high quality, and because high quality is just... Unless it's so bad quality that it's good quality. You know, there is that as well. But I'd also call that high quality. I'd call something being so bad quality, good quality. In a way, that's like memey. You know what I'm saying? You don't really understand. But secondly, the most important thing, or probably the most important thing, is it represents your game, you know? It should have some sort of representation of your game in there. It should give you a similar feeling almost as to what the game is about. Gotta add arrows down. Yeah, you need arrows. What's going on? You need big red arrows. You need a face, a shocked face in the video. Like, what the heck? So let's take a look and let's see if it does represent your game. And I think it does, actually. I've played your game. Obviously, we've played your game a couple times. We've given you feedback a couple times on this game. And when you're making an image like this, obviously you can look at it like this, okay? I think the first thing that you need to consider, though, is it visible at the size that it's going to be viewed at? Is it visible at the size that it's going to be viewed at? Now, most likely people aren't going to be looking at it this big. They're probably, where's this going to be? It's probably going to be about this big. You know what I mean? Bonjour, bonjour, how's it going? Yeah, they're probably going to be looking at it about this big. So when it becomes smaller, how much clearer? Is it still clear? And I think you lose a little bit of clarity because of that. I think you lose, like at this size, it makes sense what's going on. But at this size, it's kind of difficult to tell what's going on. I do like the way that you've got the verticality of this is quite nice. Like the perspective of this is really cool. The way that they're looking up. I do think your text is a little bit in the way. And to me, the font reads as Ind site. IND site. So it's a little bit confusing, and and if you look at value wise and also just color wise, because of the way it is, it's also very high contrast. So the text is standing out quite a lot. The text is standing out quite a lot. I thought it was in sight. No, I think it's in sight. Change the name of the game to Insight. Yeah, fixed. So what can you do to solve this problem? Well, I'd always recommend this if you're creating any sort of key art, marketing art, whatever. Or even a YouTube thumbnail, right? I'd always recommend doing this. Literally start with a thumbnail. Let's just do it in this. We'll do it in the same resolution that you're doing it in. Start with a thumbnail like this and just sketch out the shapes or the idea. So obviously you've got the character down the bottom. Let's make them even bigger. All right, let's make their eyes even bigger. Let's exaggerate their eyes a little bit just so we can definitely see that. Could maybe put some fire in there. Now, how can we make this even more? How can we make this stand out even more at such a small size? Well, let's just look at the silhouettes. Let's look at the silhouettes firstly. And just draw little silhouettes like this. So this is what your current thumbnail is, basically. Your current thumbnail looks like that. Now that's not so bad, but I think the fact that you have this over the top of it, that's ruining the idea of the platforms being there. Do you see immediately how you lose the platforms sticking out? I think you could improve on this even more so. By having just more ideas of platforms as you go up, and don't hide them out so much, maybe. But again, it needs tested because that doesn't actually look so good in my opinion. It doesn't look as clear as the other one, you know. And just mess with these kinds of shapes, and eventually you'll get something which is really clear at a smaller size. Put this Insight title running down the column. You mean like that? That's one thing to try. Yeah, that's one thing to try. Have like a vertical thing. Have it along the column like they're saying there. What a Prudent says, hey Saltines, how come you choose to do pixel art for your game? Your pixel art is really good, but your hand-drawn art is even better, like that house you did one time. Mostly just because animating characters and making characters in pixel art is a lot easier, a lot faster. Like creating assets in pixel art is a lot faster than 2D, I think. I say that, but I've been struggling with the art because it's basically hand drawn. Like if you look at the art for Faceplant, actually, it is essentially hand-drawn art. It's such a large pixel art resolution. I think it's like 512 by 288. It's such a large pixel art resolution that it's basically 2D art. So while the character is in pixel art, the backgrounds basically look like 2D art, to be honest. So yeah, I'd recommend for anything like this, marketing art wise, just make a bunch of thumbnails, mess with them, mess with the compositions. It's kind of best of both worlds, Rudin. I think it's like if you see like 2D digital, if there's a spectrum of 2D digital and like pure pixel, I'm talking like 16 pixel everything, tile sets and stuff. I'd say my game is like mostly here. It's about here on that spectrum. I don't view it as like purely black and white type meanings of stuff. If you use rule of thirds, you see the eyes are close to the intersection, but the high contrast fires not, and it draws our eyes to it. The creature's eyes are more important to be on the intersection. Yeah. So what Marge is talking about there is if you break this into thirds, which is kind of difficult actually here. Actually, maybe a little bit lower than that. Maybe there. I mean, even the eyes aren't fully... They aren't fully there still. Like, you haven't got much in the intersections. If you use rule of thirds. Maybe this is more of a... like golden rule type thing, you know what I mean? But even then, there's not much central. I think with key art like this, just make a bunch of thumbnails. Like, I am actually going to be making a video on key art at some point, because I have to make the key art for Faceplant. I have to make the key art for Faceplant, and I'll basically be going through that entire process and all of the tips that I have for making good key art and looking at effective key art and why it works and how they've done a good job of that. But I also think that the other thing to consider is like how much, like we said with the size, how much can you actually get away with showing in something like that and it being clear. And maybe there's just too much going on. Like, you have multiple characters in this, you have multiple platforms. Maybe it needs to be simplified just a little bit. How you do that, I'm not sure. You know, maybe you could try a different composition, like maybe more of one like this, you know what I mean? Maybe more straight on where the character's like looking up, oh, like that, and then maybe you can have the characters on the little beams or whatever, the little platformy beams. Maybe something like that would work a little bit better, because in this way it's a little bit more clear. You still have the perspective, but it's a little bit more clear that the platforms, they're platforms. Like right, this shape at the top here, you can't really tell what it is. You obviously can't see this platform shape because it's behind the text. Text-wise, what would you do? I would probably, if you really wanted, it is less dynamic, but it's more clear. Like, yeah, you've got a really dynamic thing going on, but also you can't tell what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you need? Do you need dynamic or do you need clarity? And I'd argue that clarity is more important here, because the player needs to tell what the heck's going on. Like, this is just one big negative space here, basically, with the bottom of this platform. It isn't telling you anything. This tells you that it's one platform. And again, it's from this size, remember. It's from a small size. You have one platform and then you're hidden by text. Whereas if you had something like this, sure, it's less dynamic, but it's more clear. And remember that we said it's the YouTube thumbnail. It's the YouTube thumbnail of Steam, right? So people need to tell immediately, and I mean immediately, by the way. People judge your key art in 3 to 5 seconds. If people can't tell what's going on in 3 to 5 seconds, they've moved on already. They've moved on. It needs to be very, very clear, because you only have 5 seconds max. You need 5 seconds max to convince someone. You know what I'm saying? Of what's going on. And if this isn't getting the job done, which I don't think it does, because of 1, the confusion in the name logo, and 2, the confusion in the... I think it could benefit the most from removing the text. I agree. Yeah. I think if you remove the text, it would be better. Like if you just did that. Remove the text, it's getting the point across. Way better. Add some platforms there. It's still kind of difficult to see. You know what I mean? And you have all of this area on the right here, which is like nothingness. You have all this area on the right, which is like nothingness, which not always a bad thing. Like negative space can be good. Character, maybe a bit small. Maybe have them looking up a bit more. Maybe have some actual like depth on this as well, where you have a gradient of depth. Oops. Gives it a little bit of atmosphere as well. Obviously this is crazy, but you'll get what I mean in just a sec. Like atmospheric perspective in a way. Oopsie. Make this, I think it'd benefit most from moving the text, yeah. Make this a little bit more clear as a platform. What's up, Brink? I need isometric character animations references, but not pixel art. Can you guys recommend good 2D isometric art references, but not pixel art? No. I don't know any, really. Maybe check Pinterest or something. Maybe check Pinterest. You want the character in there, maybe make them a little bit bigger. I think one good one to look at is Bread and Fred. I know Bread and Fred does. Bread and Fred has a really good one. Because it's essentially the same kind of concept, right? Let me have a look. Red Alert 2. Plus, he said this is for Steam. Do you have the other key art? Like Bread and what the heck? It's so small. If you look at Bread and Fred's, notice how it is literally just the characters jumping, and there's tiny things in the background, but you're never ever going to see this. Like when you're watching it, you're never going to see this, in that you basically are just looking at Bread and Fred there. This is the only, okay, this is the only key art you've got so far. Okay, so I would consider, I think clarity is your biggest problem. Clarity is your biggest problem. I think this is nice and dynamic, but I think clarity is your biggest problem. And because you only have 3 seconds to tell someone this is what your game is about through this key art, I think you need to focus more on clarity. Like Madge said, the eye is drawn to this fire, but why? It's not important for the thumbnail at all. It's high contrast. It's high contrast in terms of value and in color. It's literally one of the only highly warm colors of this scene, other than the fox, but the fox is so small that you can't even see it. You're breaking up all of what's important with this font here, with this logo, which has its own problems because it reads as, like I said before, it reads as insight on first look, which I think is problematic. But I think if you just have, if the focus on the character, then make it clear. If it's about the gameplay, make that clear. Yeah, exactly. Like, make your focus clear. You know, that's your biggest problem. Yes, it's dynamic, but it is very unclear at the moment. It's unclear. There are too many things competing for attention. This is competing for attention. This is massively competing for attention. The little characters don't really compete for attention, but they do work quite well, as we've seen. If you get rid of everything that's competing for attention, have a bit more balance between the light and dark, and then still use those characters as anchor points. The characters work really well actually as anchor points to the action that's going on. Like, we just draw little eyes on them. You can see now how the eye kind of goes upwards from big size, medium to small. Let's make this character a little smaller. Big, medium to small. You know what I'm saying? Maybe even a little bit smaller. but there's no text getting in the way. If you have to put text in this, what I would probably do is put it down the bottom here, like something like that, you know? It's not the best, but if you could maybe give yourself more space, if you can, maybe let's move the whole thing up slightly. Darken this out quite a lot. Maybe it's just the floor or whatever. And then you could put the text there. If it's even necessary to put the text there. Obviously getting rid of the unclear nature of the font. Something like that might work a bit better. You know what I mean? And I think that overall is a bit more clear. Than what you had previously. You know what I'm saying? Don't we need to put the logo on the box? What is this for? That's my biggest question. What is this for? Is this for your Steam capsule thing? If you need to put the logo somewhere, a lot of space for it at the bottom in your design is what I mean. Like you don't want it to be here because that breaks everything. Like this breaks everything. It breaks the entire point. You know what I mean? I also had the idea to make the camera look down and have the slime look up at the camera. That's not bad, yeah. Real character looks like Mr. Meeseeks from Rick and Morty, yeah. I think one thing you can do, Dylan, if you're interested in alternative compositions is literally just what I said before. Like, just draw a bunch of them. Just literally sketch out a bunch of ideas. Because color contrast and all that stuff, that comes after your initial, like... That comes after your initial pass with the thumbnails. You know what I'm saying? Like something like this, where you make the perspective increase from the bottom and then you have the blue slime at the bottom, you know? Like looking up, like, oh my goodness, so many platforms to go type thing. And then you can have insight up the top here or something. But notice how that sketch took me, what? Less than 20 seconds? That's why thumbnails are so incredibly powerful. Because you can essentially find an idea immediately. You know? And then from then on, you would literally just fix the perspective. Fix this perspective, make sure it actually makes sense and is actually perspective based. Yeah, I do like this one when it's fixed. I think this one works quite well when it's fixed. And I think you just had a couple problems with like clarity with this one. And if, like, to answer your question, Mr. Wizard, do you need to put the logo on the box? I think you do, but if you do, and you're going with this first one, just move everything up. Move everything up slightly, cut off a little bit of the top, squash down the area, and then put the logo on the bottom. So that it's not making, so it's not unclear, basically. But anyway, we've spoken too long about this. Next one. Hope that was helpful in some way. Excuse me. Which is why sketching is an essential skin. It's an essential skin. Wow, I can't speak today. It's an essential skill to learn first in drawing. It is. Yeah, I think drawing is so helpful. It's super helpful. Will you also play the demo now? We'll play the demo. This is the one. I think you changed it. We will do that since you've got... we'll play the demo, sure. We'll play the demo since you changed it. Let's see what's changed about it. Because we've given feedback on this a bunch. Let's see what's changed about it. Loading game. Game is loading. Okay, demo version. Press space. Yeah, again... The font, the text. We changed controls. Okay, does normal work? Normal mode doesn't work. Tutorial. Okay, choose your controls. You've got a typo in controls. The text is very hard to read still. That was feedback that we gave last time, I believe. The font is very bad. You can always change it in the settings. Okay, so you've got hold, spam, golf, and fling. I'm a new player. I don't know what any of this means. I'm a new player. I don't know what any of this means. What does this mean? What does that mean? This is a huge problem because... by the way, your little indicator isn't very clear either, this little thing. Notice how my mouse thing is more clear than that. This is a big problem. Because last time we talked about... I remember we talked a lot about control systems. And it seems like you've went with the idea to add in a bunch of different control systems. This is good because it gives player choice. But it's also bad because your game kind of loses a little bit of identity. In the sense that, like... what is the intended way to play? Which way is the most fun way to play? Because I guarantee each of these ways to play may not be equal, right? And let's say my first ever experience with the game is I'm gonna play the spam one, because we already know from last time I don't like the spam one. I don't like the spam one, so I'm gonna waste my time. The intended is all of them at once. What the heck? UI get... yeah, the text is hard to read. So you mean to have them all in the game at once? Which is fine. You can turn off the text in the settings. Got it. It's not necessarily about the text being turned off. I think it's useful. I just think the actual text itself is hard to read, and you will come across players who have problems with, or dyslexic basically, and it will be even harder, if not impossible, for them to read the text. And if that's the main way that you're teaching them the game, if that's the main way you're teaching them how to play the game, you've got mad problems. You know what I mean? You got mad problems. But anyway, let's try the other control system. So I don't like that one. There we go. Okay, so you can change it within the menu. That's good. So I'll probably just mess around with that. I think what would be nice for the initial one... just because it works for you, Mr. Wizard, doesn't mean it's going to work for everyone else, though. You know what I mean? I think get lots of feedback on that. Get lots of feedback on that. Because I personally think the font is terrible. I think the font is terrible, actually. See, this is way more fun. The hold is about 50 million times more fun than the spam. In fact, for me, it's like, why is the spam even an option? Because this is just way more fun. Some tutorial pictures would be nice. Yeah, I think when you have those options in place, like maybe something which indicates what those are. You know what I'm saying? Let me have a look here. Let's try golf now. Turn that off. How do I get out of this? There we go. Okay, so golf is like this. See, this one, I'd never choose golf. Why? Why would I never choose golf? Because it's less precise. It's a different game entirely. It's easier for me to choose hold. Let's choose fling. Let's see what that one's like. And that's the problem with multiple different control systems. There's going to be ones which are annoying, which is spam. There's going to be ones which, why would you ever choose it? Because it's harder than the other one. Or not necessarily harder, just less precise, and you get less control. And let's check out what fling is like. That's the problem with having multiple control systems, I think. What does fling do? Okay, so fling is this one. And that's fun as well. This would work really well on a mobile. In fact, this is maybe one of the most fun ones. This feels the most fluid. Of course, there's a bunch of games like this. But this feels great. Like, this one feels great. This one feels really intuitive. And in fact, this one feels the best overall. you know. But this is like, I think the first time we ever played this game, I mentioned this in the controls. I mentioned that the controls just don't feel very fun with the first system, and there's a reason that other games like this have went with systems like this one. Why? Because it is simply the most fun. You know, like, this is the most fun system that you have out of all of them. It's better than the hold one because you still have to change and move the direction, which is slow, whereas I can just go over and over again with this. I'm not mad that I'm falling. I'm having a good time, actually. You know, like this, if I was going to say it, I would say these aren't so much choose your control scheme as they are choose your own game. Yeah, that's how it feels. That's how I feel. That's how it feels. And I think that maybe the bad thing about that is if someone plays your game for the first time and they're not patient with the controls, let's say they pick the spam one and they're like, wow, this is fucking annoying. Their initial impression of your game is, wow, this is annoying. Why would they check out more? You know what I mean? Kind of like how what we just said about the thumbnail, about the key art. We just said about the key art, like, this is the people's first impression of your game visually is the thumbnail, basically the key art. But the tutorial, or which control scheme that they choose, is the first impression of playing your game. And when people have a bad taste in their mouth with games and stuff, there are millions of games like this. Not like this, but there are millions of games to try out, right? That they have time to try out, and people's time is limited. So if you make their experience worse on their first attempt, you're increasing the likelihood that they're clicking off, that they're not playing, that they're not, you know. What about you first start with fling mode, and every time you beat it unlocks a new way to control the game? You're essentially just creating a new game at that point. But to be honest, what I think the problem with that, Dylan, is the other modes just aren't fun, you know, compared to fling. Like, you're punishing me is what that feels like. Like, let me play spam again compared to that. Why are you punishing me for finishing the game? Also, that like now it's super slow because now I have to move the arrow. The pacing of the game changes like that. So slow now, and I have to spam. Like, to see how long it takes to just make one movement. You can press P. Got you. Thank you. See how long it takes to press one movement and to change one direction. I think you need to commit to one. You know, I think you could make a game out of spam. You could make a game out of hold. You could make a game out of golf. And you could make a game out of fling. Personally, I think fling feels the most intuitive and the most fun. But you could make a game out of each of those things. But I don't think you could really make a game out of all of them at once. Because I think one of them is clearly the best. And the rest of them are worse. And they all have different degrees of, like, worseness. You know what I mean? It'd be like if Sonic had a mode where you had to rapidly press X to run, nobody would play it. That's a great point, Chris, yeah. That's a great point. Like, if one of your favorite games had a different control scheme which would make the game less fun, would you play it? I don't think so. I think you just need to be confident. This is, reminds me a lot of a game called, Desert Golfing. So desert golfing looks very simple, yeah? Ignore the bald man. I appreciate you sharing the video. Okay, this is the game.
Okay, gonna need more power than that.
I'm gonna silence you here, my friend. But look, this is the game. It's a golf ball, and it's an endless game of golf hole, of balls. This game is so incredibly confident, right? So incredibly confident in what it does that it works. It doesn't need fancy graphics. It has a very nice intuitive control system, and I've played it now for over 1,000 holes. It's very confident. There's no alternative control schemes. Guess what they did? They released a second game called Golf on Mars. Guess what they do with this one? They take that original idea. We do like bald men, yes. They take the original idea and they changed the control scheme slightly. They have the move and they spin. And you can spin the ball, and that's basically it. That is a second game. So rather than making one game with a million different control schemes where one of them is clearly the best and the rest are the worst, and one of them is clearly the best for a reason, it's because it's proven. What's that other game called with the fling? A YouTuber made it, right? What's that game called? Does anyone remember? I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, there's a game where you fling like that. Stick with it, that's it. Yeah, so this is it, essentially. Now, I don't know. So it doesn't even control the same way. It doesn't even control the same way. Does this have fling, or is this automatic? It looks like the direction is moving constantly. It's not even the same. You're good. You have... Oh, they have multiple controls, do they? But do you notice how there's a reason they're showing only one here? I'd like to play this, actually. Can you download it? You can. Like Crash Series, they kept the control system and did some small changes after many years of success. Yeah. I mean, personally, I would just remove the bad control schemes. You know what I mean? I would personally just remove the bad controls. And I would keep the ones which are good. I'd keep the one which is good. But I guess it's up to you, you know? You can do whatever you want. That would just be my feedback on that. Okay, next up. We already looked at this one. We already looked at this game mock-up. Absolutely amazing. What time are we on? Okay, we'll do a little bit more. Thank you for the feedback. No worries, Dylan. And also, I guess one thing would be about, like... One thing... Thanks for the feet knack. What the heck? This was a good exercise, though, because last time we were talking about hold being better and we only had fling because of your experimentation. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You've implemented other systems because of the feedback, and it's so important to be open to feedback, because you, when you stop being open to feedback, and when you stop changing it, your game gets worse. You played my game Dozen Bear and I wasn't here. We did, Eddie. We did. So my goal was to make an animation that has lots of cute and fun little details, but it feels a bit messy now. Am I being too ambitious? I think it looks sick. I don't really have any notes for this. I think it has a nice amount of detail to it. I don't really know. I don't have much feedback for this. I think I think it's amazing, basically. I think it's amazing. I don't think you have too much detail. It's fun to see something different on every loop that I look at it in a different place. Style is really nice. Nice. The font is amazing. And the contrast is dope. Keep it up. I don't really have... I should hire the person who made this. Yeah, basically. So, some really solid art here. The only thing that's off is the background flickering. But somebody already mentioned that. Okay, we already saw these sprites from Thomas last time. These were the final ones. Let's check them out again. I think they look sick. I mean, I don't think we need to go into too much detail with this. We went into the tanks last time. I mean, these look great. These look dope. I think the M3 Lee feels a bit blocky, but I don't know. I mean, it's a tank. You know? It's a tank and you're trying to make it... You're trying to make it in pixel art. You think that it feels a little bit blocky. It looks a little bit blocky. You know? Because it's a tank. I think that looks fine. Okay. Tanks are supposed to be blocky. Yeah, I agree. Basic character turnaround. Any critique is appreciated. I'm a beginner pixel artist and this is my first turnaround. I think it's a good start. But I'd like to see if there are any ways I could improve. The shoulders gave me some trouble in the side view, and the hands in the back view took some finagling. So I'm curious about those areas. I'm satisfied with the colors I used, and especially like the blue line art. So I'd like to see opinions on that as well. Okay. First thing with the turnaround is make sure everything lines up. So let's have a look. Make sure everything lines up. And it does. What's this? Hands? Are they hidden? The hands hidden here in the back? Side view even? Oops. Would be interesting to see this idle animated. I agree, it's a really nice character design. So are these hands... Maybe they've just like outlined it or something? Not sure. Didn't know you streamed until today. What's up, Rudin? Yeah, we stream on Monday, Wednesday on Twitch and Fridays on YouTube for Feedback Friday. But I haven't done... didn't do many Twitch streams this week because of life. The pants higher is maybe a little too high here. I think it should be there, right? So it's going to say 2 areas with the side view. Two areas with the side view which don't align. The rest seems fine to me. Maybe the horns. Yeah, the horns. Horns in side view should be a little bit lower. Maybe the horns in the front view should be a little bit lower, unless they go back. No. Really depends. Are you still staying with Unity? No, God, no. I don't recommend Unity at all to anyone at all, ever. So I'm going to say a couple inconsistencies, but overall, amazing. What are you going to use? I use Godot. I've used Godot for years now. A few inconsistencies with the side, with the views. Between the views, I'll say. But overall, this character design is really nice. Super strong shapes and design. I'd love to see more. How is programming in Godot? It's good. It uses GD script, which is really simple. People say it's very similar to Python, which I would agree with. It's not intended to be, I don't think. There's actually a section in the documentation which says that it isn't like Python, but it is... it's just very simple, very basic, but also it has the option to use C++ and C# if you need the extra performance. I've never really needed it, so yeah, I think it's dope. I love Godot. I'd like to get back into making it. I've been so busy with work and life that I just haven't gotten all my free time project work has been on the next YouTube video. Once that YouTube video is done, I'm just gonna start smashing faceplant again, basically. I thought it was Unity. Nah, it's in Godot. I made the little jump tool in Godot. That's a really nice cartoon character. I love the blue light. I personally love the blue outline as well. I think that looks really cool. Okay, next up, Hamster Wizard. Check this out. As you guys can see, I'm struggling with finding out the good canvas size. Nice. Nice Hamster Wizard though. This is great. This is amazing. This is amazing. I'd say I'd recommend exporting larger though. The GIF animation larger so we can see it more clearly. I really like that. Perhaps more like ham star. Yeah, I think it's sick. Is that what Thomas said? Yeah. Like Thomas said above. Maybe like as it looks a bit like what's it like low res? It shouldn't. Like artifacting. Okay, next up. First animation, Mio Stafford said. So this was the image that we looked at before, and they started to add animation to their characters. Let's have a look at this. Okay. So it's just a very simple idle animation with some like bending at the knees, I guess. Let me have a look at the cloak. It's the cloak that I'm mostly looking at. The cloak like seems to increase in size. Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing, Chris. The cloak seems to increase in size, so the volume is changing. Now, I mean, that could work if it's like flapping from behind, you know what I mean? But since we don't see that because of the staging, which is another principle of animation, since we don't see that because of the staging, it just appears as though the cloak gets bigger, basically. And that looks a little bit off, you know? Looks a little bit off to me, that it just increases in size. But other than that, I mean, very, very simple, very nice. I like how you've bent the bow forward a little bit here. That's a really nice little touch. Show that the bow is bending. It's kind of hard to see the detail in this area, like where the arms are, just because there's so much detail going on there. You might want to be careful in the design, actually, which we didn't mention earlier, but you might want to be careful in the design that you have very, very close colors here. You've kind of tried to use it as like a shading color, but it might just be adding to the noise of that area, not the actual clarity. But overall, super simple but nice. Yeah, nice. Talked about this on stream. Okay, next up, Mr. Wizard Lank. Updated version in the comments. Don't crush my dreams. Okay, Mr. Wizard here. Okay, done. So this is the final piece by Rick. Pickle Rick. Okay, cool. So what's I guess the goal for this is just to draw Link. I mean, if your goal for this is just to draw Link, then you've done a good job. I think the only thing that looks off to me with this is your just inconsistencies with the designs of the characters, the proportions of the characters. We've spoke about this before, and I desperately need to make a video. I desperately need to make a video on proportions, or just general proportions, so that I could just be like, hey, look, there you go. Check this out. Very expressive poses. I agree. Yeah. I agree, Chris. The poses are very dynamic. Dynamic poses are hard to do. But I think, like I said, just proportion-wise, it just looks off. That's it. Just slight proportions that look off. If you take a look at the size of the arms on this character, how small they look on this character, and this character then super long here, like but like this arm's really long, but then this arm's really short. I guess you maybe have tried to have done like a perspective thing, but because it's quite flat, it doesn't really read like that. The sizing of things is a little bit different. The size of this character's head is so different to the size of this character's head, you know. And this one as well. It just looks a little bit all over the place in terms of sizing and proportions. I'd recommend, if you're drawing a group of people, this is what we were talking about before earlier with Majd as well, was saying how important it is to just improve your sketching and drawing skills. If you draw a simple perspective, simple 2D perspective, or even 1D perspective could work here, is going to help you immediately with the placement of your characters in a way that it doesn't look flat and is consistent with like styles and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like you can place things on the planes which make more sense, you know what I mean? Like, and then like I'm doing it quite I'm doing it quite quickly here and not very accurately, but you get the point. You get the point. You could just do it with basic shapes like spheres, cylinders. Just use spheres and cylinders for everything, basically. Look up Glenn Vlipu for great universal drawing teaching, I guess. If that's recommended, check that out. I've never heard of it, but anything to help learn more about drawing, yeah. Kind of struggling using C# and Unity, even though I had experience with it, but still couldn't quite understand why it felt so different. Yeah. Yeah, game, like, using C#, I try to go the other way, where I used C# in Unity, then try to use C# for, like, an app, and it just didn't make any sense to me. Didn't make any sense to me. You're a Unity user, but you're now getting into Rust programming. It offers performance comparable to C++, but it comes with a much simpler syntax. I've heard good things about Rust, actually. Okay, next up. I recommend everyone this language when you have many options like Godot, Bevy, Comfy, Engine. Yeah, I think you can use Rust in Godot as well. Did it take long to learn Godot? For me, no, because I was coming from Unity. Like, I switched from Unity to Godot, and there's a lot that's very similar. There's a lot that's very similar about the actual engine itself. And since I think once you know one language programming, or like once you get the basics of programming, learning another one is actually quite easy as well. So I actually learned C# with Unity, and then I learned Python for the Discord bot, like RoboTunes on Discord. And I was like, GDScript was so easy to pick up. Like, it didn't even feel like it was actually difficult at all to pick up. I use Construct 3, great for people that want to stick with 2D and focus on design. Yeah, I've heard good things about Construct as well. Isn't what's that Goose Game? Isn't Goose Game? Mighty Goose Game is made in Construct, I believe. That's a cool looking 2D game. 2D pixel game, anyway. Love the art on that one. Yeah, me too. What's your game, Mononyo? Onion. I'm going to call you Onion, okay? Character one. Let's check this out. Battle UI for my game. Ignore the battle background, just grab some stuff off itch for mockups. I'm experimenting with UI UX strategies for this game. It's a first-person JRPG dungeon crawler. The story is set within an MMO hack style, so you have a chat feed to the side so you can get an idea of what your allies are thinking and reacting to things. You can't directly control your party members, but you can issue them commands on your turn to give them general directions. Jeez, okay. This is a lot. The story is set within an MMO. .hack style, I don't know what that is, but you have a chat feed to the side so you can get an idea of what your allies are thinking and reacting to. You can't directly control your party members, but you can issue them commands on your turn to give them general directions. .hack is a video game, got you. Onion is close enough. No problem. I was thinking about trying Godot, but I was worried I'd struggle with it. It's good for 3D too. Yeah, I guess if you use Godot 4, it's much better for 3D now. It wasn't in Godot 3 as much, but Godot 4 is much better because they did a lot of updates for it. Originally I was going with a keyboard style with keybinds like you might find in an MMO, but I also have made a more traditional list UI because I'm not sure the MMO style interface would actually be ergonomic. Interesting. I don't know a huge amount about UX UI. So just from looking at this, can we tell what's going on? So there's like a chat feed going out there. That's what they were talking about earlier. This is your character. This is your primary character. I guess this is your party, maybe, on the left. Character 1 uses an attack or something. So these are your skills. These are your gods. Attack skills, heal, defend, freeze, skills. So it's like an MMO type battle system. I think that makes sense. Command, Runara, conserve SP, attack, defend, skill, item, flee. So are these like different? I really like this one. This makes a lot of sense. Good feeling weight on the character standing, that's hard to achieve, yeah. Yeah, I really like the style of this, it's cool. I'm mainly looking at the UI and the UX. I think it's mostly clear. I think it's mostly clear what you're going for. You can see my initial reaction on the stream I did to see if it matches, if my understanding matches what your intention is. Feels too crowded like a JRPG, but some people like that. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's quite common with that kind of style, isn't it? Where you've just got a bunch of like menus and click things. This one feels a little like... I think this one feels a little worse than this one. I don't know if they're intended to be different. Like different styles. I guess they are, maybe. You got command, attack, defense, skill, item, flee. Like, this is very Pokemon-y, you know what I mean? Oh, is this yours, Chris? No, I don't think it's too complex at all. I don't think it's too complex. Just take a little bit to look at it and read it and have a look. I think UX is your most important thing, firstly, right? Like the layout, which layout you're going for. So a question that I have is, are these different layouts? Are these different layouts? So this is layout 1, layout 2, layout 3. These aren't like combined layouts. Yes, okay, cool. Just watch you play it, doesn't matter. Thanks for the feedback. Love to see you play my Steam game. Where can I send you a Steam key if you decide to? Just send it to my email, I guess, Eddie. The first one is bound to a keyboard. Okay, so that one's bound to keyboard. So you can't like click it either. You wouldn't have the option to click it. I think this one I like a lot just because it does remind me of like MMO. Like you say, you're going for an MMO type. You're going for an MMO type thing. So for my understanding of this is your party right here on the left. This is the character that you currently have, or like you're currently you're assigning actions to. And these are obviously your skills that you can do. This is your, are these your guard skills down the bottom, and these are your attack skills up the top? And this command thing, I'm not sure what that command thing is. My gut says the keyboard one is the most scalable too, should you wish to add more and more abilities. That's interesting. I never thought about that. Yeah, like this one. Should you add more abilities here? Where do they go? Yeah, where do they go unless you have like a little, like a what's it called? Like a little dot thing? Like it would be like a scroll thing. I'd imagine it working like that, like a dot. You know what I mean? You ever seen stuff like that? I don't know what that's called. Where you're currently on page 1 or whatever. Or like how Pokemon works as well. Like that. Maybe tabs. Yeah, tabs could work too. UI and UX is so complicated. But I think you've got some interesting ideas. I think this one's the worst one, personally. Because I don't really understand what's going on here, just from a first glance. I don't understand. I understand this one the least, is what I say. I understand this one the least. Are these like different attacks, maybe? And the colors signify something important? I'm not sure what. With a bunch of tiny icons, a la any MMO featureability, so you can get a grasp at a glance. Yeah, I personally like this one the best. I do agree. I do like this one the best because like when you have the icons in there, like an MMO, you don't even have to think about what that thing is. You kind of just learn the picture, you know? You learn the picture. Obviously, it increases your work that you need to do because you need more icons. This one's nice. This one reminds me of like Pokemon / Final Fantasy type stuff. Text is too fallible, especially if you consider translating. The other two layouts restrict the names and length too much. That's interesting. I just think that one looks more, this one looks more like welcoming, you know? This one looks more welcoming in the sense that like, oh, I could easily tell what to do here. Like, I can more easily tell what to do. Yeah, I do agree with that. I think that's my opinion as well. In terms of like UI, so like visual side of things, you've made it clear that you've made it clear that something is selected by darkening it out. I think that's cool. Soultune speedrunning and all the feedback Friday submissions, exactly, Rain. By fallible, you mean it will get messed up with different word length? Yeah, that's what I think. That's what Talaba means. And with like something in English might be 5 letters long, but something in another language might be like a whole sentence. You know what I mean? It might be like 50 characters or something. Like 5 characters versus 50 characters. That's something you've got to worry about with text UI. I tried to have 0 text in Faceplant for that very reason. In fact, I don't have any text in Faceplant. That's interesting. Other than the menus. But I guess that's where you would find text, right? Russian and German, yeah. Yeah, I like this one. UI wise, I mean, what's the style that you're going for? You know, is there a particular style you're going for? I think it looks nice and clean. It looks it does look JRPG like. You could obviously try and add decorative elements to these if you wanted to, or if there's a particular like theme you wanted to add to them, you could try doing something like that. But I don't think it necessarily needs them. Like if you look at something like I always go to Final Fantasy with this because it just looks so much like the Final Fantasy menu to me, you know, where it's just text and block. Like this is the first thing that come to my mind when I was thinking this. Like if this works for apparently some of the greatest games ever, if this works, then you know what's your problem? Everything is lined up in a way. Ding 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 ding. You don't need to go too complicated. Maybe a gradient. There you go. Add a little gradient. What's your problem? There we go. We're fixing. Make it more blue. Fixed. There you go. Gradient fixes everything. Gradient fixes everything. Your problem. You're now high tech. You're now a high tech menu system. With a simple gradient. I think the final system might have symbols like in most MMO hotbars. Still remember those old menus. Ding ding ding. Yeah. It's actually meant to feel like a PS2 game with the actual background in. Ah, okay. I like that. Thanks for subscribing, Louise Roa. Appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, PS2 type game. Yeah, I think that makes perfect sense. What's the other one that has something like that? Is it Kingdom Hearts? No, I don't think it's Kingdom Hearts. UI. Have you seen that? There's a UI database. Have you seen that? Game UI database. This is really useful to look at. For those of you that are interested in UI, UX, whatever the heck it's called. So you can check out games. Like, let's check out a genre. Let's check out... Wow, please. Wow, the UX is bad. What is it called? RPG, I guess. UI style. Let's go for a flat UI style. And then you can literally just scroll past games. So Octopath Traveler has a UI like this. And you can just go past a bunch of different things and check them all out. So if you're a UI designer, if you're doing any sort of UI or whatever, this type of thing is very, very useful, obviously. Because you can immediately find styles that are what you're going for. You've never seen this site before? Yeah. I heard about it a while back. And I was like, oh, this is cool. But then I was like, I'm not doing anything UI based, but I guess it's useful for you folks who are doing like JRPGs and stuff. Like fantasy. Let's have a look at some. Dang. Okay, dang. And we could check out, you can also, I'm in the way of this, but you can also change which area of UI you're looking at. Like maybe we'll have a look. Is there like a battle one maybe? Modals and overlay, game states, mid-game, class party, failure, game over, no. World map, character selects. Push it. Yeah, exactly. There's probably something in here. I mean, there's so much stuff. I was about to say rubbish there, but it isn't rubbish. Lufia 2. No games tagged Lufia 2. Faceplant. Rip. What the heck? Oh, thank goodness. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. They've stolen Faceplant. It's not, it's Ollie Ollie 2. We're good. We're good. It's a SNES game. Oh yeah, okay. Like the old text-based menus. Yeah, it just looks the same as Final Fantasy to me. It's cool though. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on, but I guess you haven't got a huge amount of screen size. Legend of Legaia. Legend of League of Legends. Oh, sick. Let's go. Yeah, that one's sick. These are cool. UI's been a nightmare to develop, even in visual program. I can't imagine what it's like in text. Yeah. UI is one of the harder things. Godot is really nice though. Godot has really nice UI system because it's just boxes. You just put boxes in places basically. Yeah, this is nice. Gradient and texture. Gradient and texture. That's what you're looking for. Gradient and texture. With it, look, this one even has a bevel. This one has beveled edges. You need to step your UI game up, Chris. What the heck are you doing? Let's bevel these edges. Hold on. Hold on. I'm going to do it in the worst way possible. Oh, and let's make these ones darker. Oh, yeah. Probably doesn't even need the outline. Oh! Let's add some texture. Let's do... Hold on. Now we're PlayStation game. Oh, let's go. Oh no, I actually don't hate that. Love it. Now make it move. Oh, the texture in the background like parallaxing. Like doing something like that. Scrolling or something. Oh my goodness. So correct. I'm going to have a solidified UI toggle in the menu. Do it. Does it have drop shadow? Oh my goodness. Does it have drop shadow? Oh, I can't see any. Oh, maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit of drop shadow going on. I can't really tell for sure. These little pointers do. Let's add some. Let's just see what it looks like, okay? Hold on. We're going full UI. This is like the little clicker thing in... I could have just done this. Wow, what an idiot. Literally could have just done this. Expand by 10. Take this. Oh, I can't go underneath it. Oh, I'm a noob. Let's decrease by 10. And then delete. And do that. And then do that. Bit of drop shadow going on. Oh my god. We're in We're moving past the PlayStation 2 era here. We're going. Look at this drop shadow. Nuts. UI Zilla. Right, okay. Yeah, looks sick. We're done. We're done with this. Looks sick. I like the MMO system. Not enough drop shadow, disappointed. Me too, Wisdoms, actually. It's okay. Opacity in this day and age. Yeah, that was PS3. That's the remaster, definitely. But that's interesting, Chris. I'm excited to see how this is going. Excited to see how this is going to go. Focus on your layout first. Obviously, you've got a bunch of places to look for reference. You've got a bunch of places to look for reference visually now. So, and obviously, you know what to do visually: bevels and gradients and textures, scrolling textures, drop shadow if you're feeling like burning people's systems. Other than that, really dope. Shoot 'em up. Pop Thieves is back. Pop Thieves is back. What the heck, Pop Thieves? You're back. With another shoot 'em up. This time the ship is in the middle. We still have, this is a lot better, I think, in terms of scale. We still have a little bit of like not moving, we still have a bit of the same rate going on. Especially with these like nebula clouds. I'd like to see these things move at a different rate. But I mean, maybe you don't need it because it actually looks pretty sick. Because these little skewy things, squirrely whirly worlds, these squirrely worlds in the background moving at a different rate to the stars and these clouds and the planet. This is much better than the last one. Previous one we saw. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Learning. Next up. Practicing values and compositions and colors later on. Any general criticism, suggestions, and feedback for now because I have no idea what to specifically ask for. Nebula might benefit from desaturation. Yeah, perhaps. Perhaps, unless it's an area of, like death. If it's a death, if you move into it and go to the death. If you go to the death, and that is death, then it would be good for that to stand out. It really depends. Context like the game, right, doesn't it? But I do see what you mean there, because it is high contrast. I just rewatched the part with my leg. The problem was that I drew the green one first. And then was like, what if I did more? I think it looks cool overall, Mr. Wizard. I meant if they are backgrounds. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you, Majd. I feel you. Okay, let's check this one out. Practicing values and compositions. Any general criticism? Interesting. I think it looks great. There isn't really much to give feedback on. Progress. Okay. One thing I've heard about, this looks great overall, firstly. This looks great overall. One thing I've heard about value. I mean, it looks good. What would I say here? I guess it depends on the lighting, doesn't it? Depends on the lighting and the colors. If they're studying, I guess they're studying this from a reference photo. Do they have the reference photo? Do you have a reference photo for this you're studying from? Because if you look at it from afar, I mean, it looks fine. I don't really have any feedback at this point, I don't think. The only thing that looks... I was going to say, Soul said looking quite shiny today. Thank you very much, Rain. That's a compliment. I'll take that as a compliment. This post looks a little... It looks the same as this, but I imagine this is going to be different colors as well, so... It's not always a bad thing for values to be close together, because I was initially going to say, when I first looked at this, I was initially going to say, check out your value ranges. Like, if you want this to not be so lost against this background, you might want to change the value range of this. Like, maybe make it slightly lighter or something, or slightly darker even. Like, one of the two things, maybe. And generally with my work, I take foreground pieces and I take a foreground piece and I make it darker But I only do that if it's a big piece, like a far away piece environment because of the atmospheric perspective. But in this scene, it doesn't make too much sense to do that because you are so close, really, and there wouldn't probably be that much atmospheric perspective playing on the piece. You think your aerodynamic head let you get more airtime when you get hit by the car? Well, I was wearing a helmet, so I don't know if it contributed too much to that. So perhaps it's a good job I was wearing a helmet. Otherwise, I would have flew even more. I would have flown even more. Now that I look at this, I can actually tell quite not so bad. I don't really have much feedback for this. I think it looks good so far. Not much feedback, to be honest. Solid so far. Well. As far as this art piece is concerned, I'm wondering if it wants more detail up close, but overall looks great. Yeah, I think like it looks to me like it's a photo reference. It's the photo reference. It's not the flying that gets you, it's the sudden stopping. Yeah. That is true. I can't remember the stopping, so I don't know what happened then. Helmets are for people with hair to have our aerodynamics. Yeah, it's so they can feel what it's like to be bald one day. Yeah, I'm not sure. You know what I would put in this piece? This piece needs something that I can't believe I didn't mention this earlier. Does anyone know what it is? You've got 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, too late. UFO. Oh, Mr. Wizard. You actually got there with it. UFO, man. And then put a cat here. Like, it just feels like it doesn't have that much of a focus. It is just an environmental piece, right? It doesn't have that much of a focus, which is fine. Doesn't need to. A lot of photo studies don't. But I mean, look how much more that adds, I think. Oh, Bigfoot. Yeah, we'll do Bigfoot in the background. I think they'll be quite big. Like, you ever seen the Big Les Show? If you've never seen the Big Les Show, it's on YouTube. It was made by one person, basically. And you can watch it all in one on YouTube from the start. It is actually, it was made in MS Paint as well. So good. There you go. Now it's called The Cat and the Visitors. Multiple visitors. UFO is actually a bold spaceship, it's true. It's actually too big. Contrast on the UFO is too big. Look at that artwork. Look at that pixel art. I've just made some pixel art anti-aliasing. Easy anti-aliasing. A soccer ball in a corner? Okay. That's a soccer ball. Oh my goodness. You can tell I draw them often. Next. Looks nice as an environment piece, but we had some fun on stream adding some more story. That's soccer ball, UFO, Bigfoot. Nice. Next up, an image of the first level of my video game. Let's check it out. Does it look decent? No. Sure it looks decent. So this is by the Magdaleno. I guess the characters died on every single spike. Okay. So there's a lot of people giving feedback on this one. It's always good to read other people's feedback. Good start. Watch out for repetitive developments about spikes. It's a little absurd. If you want to create a difficult part, I guess it works. Even though we could die, for example, there's spikes to the floor. Didn't really need to. Okay. Make the foot once you play have a safe zone respawn on it. Start the game. Start going forward running spikes accidentally. You have spikes still one else in the game. Jumping from the single block of the column. So look at some level design here. Image of a first level is pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, it overall looks fine. I would be careful. Like, I'm not going to comment on the level design because I'm just not going to comment on the level design. It's fairly clear how you would finish this one. You just go bing, 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 and then you die, and then you go bit, and then you die, and then you die, and then you die, and then you die, and then you ding, and then you ding, ding, and then you ding, and then you'd eventually get it down there. But your character stands out well, good. The only thing I'd be careful of is this type of thing where you have two elements which don't stand out, like clarity. Clarity is so important, yeah? Like, this is a platform. Obviously, you have the green on it, but this green of the tree is so close to the green of the platform. You know what I mean? It's so very close that do you bonk your head on the tree? I guess not. So maybe you could, like, desaturate that a little bit, or do something to it to make it look like it's in the background. I'm going to just personally darken it a little bit. I'm also going to make it, no, I'm not going to make it that color. I'm just going to make it a little bit more blue, push it a bit more towards blue. Same with this one. Do things to trees. Got it. Yeah, just don't fly into them after getting hit by a car. Also, where's the clouds? Come on. Let's draw some clouds in here. Beautiful. And what do clouds need, everybody? Everybody say it at once with me, please. What is missing in this scene? What up, little ratty? How you doing? Marmello, hello. UFOs, exactly. Sticky raid, what the heck? There's a such thing. There's raiding on YouTube. I never heard about that in my life. What's going on, Sticky? How is the stream? What's going on? How's it going, everybody? What was going on? What was going on in the stream? What were you doing today? Marmello, good. Shadows. Where are the pelicans? We need UFOs first. We're just giving feedback. For those of you that don't know, my name is SoulTunes. Hello, everybody. I make videos on game development and art. I haven't made a video in a while, actually, but I am making a video currently. Well, not currently. Soon you'll see a new video. Soon, one day. So if you're interested in game development, art, those types of things, then drop a sub, you know? It was good. We did a glitch effect on a skull. Let's go. That sounds cool, Sticky. Glitch effects on skulls. Thanks so much, everyone, for jumping in here. I like how you didn't draw clouds over the tree's shadow. Is that a shadow? I didn't know that was a shadow. Keep the UFO OP. Yeah, UFO is always OP. You a sub? Thank you so much, local cat. I've seen you around here. Probably because you're a local cat. Yeah, we're just giving feedback today on people's artwork. I think it looks fine. Be careful. Whenever you make game art and you ask about game art, just watch my video about game art. Literally just watch. I made a video on how to make game art, and it mentions everything that I think is important when making game art. This is the best art channel. Let's go, Sticky. Shouldn't be talking about yourself like that all the time, you know, bragging. Just messing. Appreciate you. Hope your stream went well. It sounds cool that you did a glitch effect on a skull. I want to do one now. You ready? This is how I do glitch effect on skull. This is a tutorial for you. Tutorial, how to do glitch effect on skull. Ready? There's your skull. Anatomically correct. Yeah, ready? Done. You like that? This one's for sticky. It's a bit messy, but we got there in the end. How are you doing? I'm doing pretty good today, thanks, Satana. Almost. You want to see another one? Glitch hack. Check this one out. Ready? You're going to love this one. No lie, there was a tattoo artist that I knew, right? Who would draw designs. And then they would literally just do this to them in the photocopier. Hold on. This time we'll use straight lines. And then shift them. Done. Alien skull. Better than mine, and mine took 1 hour. Don't be silly. Don't be silly, Sticky. I could never be this skillful. You are. You already are. You just don't know it. That's cool. Actually, I like it. Yeah, there's some cool techniques. Like, I'm just joking around, but they are like legitimate techniques for creating cool art. I'll show you actually this art. Give me 1 second. That's the music. We have no music here because I don't know what music you can have. But anyway, this is an example of using. Actually, this is the perfect thing. The artist is called Demon Dance. They actually did my skull tattoo. They did my skull tattoo. Check this out. Hopefully it's not safe for work or anything. But anyway. So they scan it and they move the scanner as it comes, and it creates a cool design like that. You see that? So they have the design and they move you see how they moved their hand in the photocopier as they were making it, and that's what creates the stretched effect, like naturally, without having to draw it, without having to do anything. Ah, you're talking about. Are you talking about? So if we draw a skull, again, obviously perfect skull. It's like that, and we do a little glitch effect again. Obviously, the fast way that I've done it, and then you can add chromatic aberration. I know Procreate people love chromatic aberration, which is basically you take that, okay, add a red one underneath. Just do that. And then you do the same and you add a blue one. Is it blue? I don't know. And you do this. Do this. There you go. Glitch with chromatic aberration. That's a big tattoo. It was a big tattoo. Are you self-taught? You are insanely fast, also working during the day. Yes, Rudin, I'm self-taught. I did go to art. I've drawn since I was a kid, basically. I've drawn since I was a kid. I did go to art school and I dropped out in the first couple of months. So I wouldn't say I was like traditionally trained or anything like that. That looks epic. My eyes remember the pain of the red and blue. Thanks to Tim and Duff, by the way. Looks like it could be someone's profile picture. Check it out after the live. No probs. Unless it wasn't me. Oh, Procreate tutorial. No probs. You could check out. I haven't checked out the new Procreate stuff either. You got kicked out of art when you were a kid because you kept drawing Pokemon? Well, that's a shame. I've seen that technique using real body parts. What, pulling body parts off? What are you watching? Like chromatic aberration? Glitch was a 5.3 update? Ah, okay. What up, Herman? How you doing? Right. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. You mean, wouldn't it be crazy if you were getting a tattoo? Do you mean that? Like getting a tattoo? and then move the body instead of moving the tattoo gun, that would be kind of nuts. Like all at once. Wonder if that's ever been done. Probably. Okay. This is going to be the last one. This is going to be the last one that we're going to look at today, folks. I know we've just got the raid, but I've been streaming for 2.5 hours nearly. I need to get some food before bed, and it's already 10 p.m., so I got to hurry it up here. So, been working on a model of Sam from Eastwood for the past week based on my drawing I found online, trying to get it to look more like the original as well as figure out things I can do with framing and lighting to make it stand out. Any feedback is appreciated. Well, firstly, this looks awesome. Check this out. This is really cool. In terms of like lighting in 3D, I don't know a lot. I don't know a lot about how you would achieve those things in a 3D software, although I have done 3D before. I'm not like the most versed in that. Used to draw Charizard all the time. I love Charizard. How do you practice artwork without being perfectionist about everything that's just supposed to be a simple sketch or practice? Lower expectations, determined Daff. You're from the UK. If you don't want to share, it's fine. But yeah, UK. Yeah, I think the highlights is what's missing, right? Highlights and maybe some of the local colors aren't as warm as they should be. Like if you notice the skin color is quite warm, like a peachy color, whereas the skin color here is a little bit more muted. Skin tone needs help, and obviously it's a little cooler than in the reference. Should be more warm. Also, the highlights will help it a lot. You can also add the like line sketch effect or outline if you really want to follow that style, which looks cool in 3D, like Spider-Verse, TMNT type stuff. So that's what I'd say there. Look at that, blasted through that one. So finally, to answer your questions, since there's people here, might as well answer some questions, what people have been talking about. Someone asked me, how do you practice artwork without being perfectionist about everything that's just supposed to be a simple sketch or practice? Okay, lower your expectations. One, stop comparing with everything. Like, spend some time off like social media and stuff. Because the problem with social media is, like, you're scrolling on your phone or something like that, or you're sitting in a stream, you're sitting in a Sticky art stream, and you're like, holy heck, Sticky art, what a legend. And then Sticky raids me, and you're like, holy heck, bald. How bald is this person? I could never be this bald. And the problem is with social media, as great as it is for inspiration, you are constantly seeing people's finished work. You know, you're constantly seeing people's finished work that looks amazing, and you're like, how can I ever compare to this? So maybe spend a little bit of time off social media, so that you're not in that frame of mind. At least just don't go on it for a little while. And then two, lower your expectations with your stuff. Lower the, not necessarily the expectations, what's the word I'm looking for here? There's a word. Lower the stakes. That's what I'm trying to say. Lower the stakes, right? If you set out to make a work and you're like, okay, I'm going to make art. I'm going to make art and then I'm going to post it on social media, right? That's when you're in the whole, it needs to be X level of good, you know? It needs to be this good. There's a threshold of good that you're willing to post. There's a threshold of good that you're like, oh, I must reach this quality before I post anywhere. And that is increasing your expectations for the piece. Whereas what can be fun a lot of the times when I enjoy art, like, I don't record it. I make a plan, a very simple plan of like, I'm going to draw X today. I remember I was just painting something. I was just painting a little hobbit hole. And I was like, today I'm just going to paint a hobbit hole. And usually I'd be like, okay, well, I need to set up the cameras and I need to get the paints ready and I need to make sure I'm recording this at the right angle for YouTube and then I can make a video out of this. No. Break that all off. Instead, it was, I'm just going to paint a hobbit hole. And guess what? It was amazing. I had the most chill time because I wasn't intending to post it anywhere. I wasn't intended to put it on anything. I was just trying to have fun with art because there was no expectations behind it. There were no stakes for the artwork. You literally just create something out of the fun of making the thing, you know? put some nice music on, maybe put even a movie on. When I was creating that little Hobbit hole, I actually put Lord of the Rings on my second monitor. So if you haven't got a second monitor, maybe put some music on or whatever. But once you start doing that, like once you get into it, you know, and you don't stress about it and recognize that art, a lot of art you can, like with paint especially, you can paint over it, you know. If you're doing pixel art, you can repixel things. Sometimes part of the process is frustrating as well. So I think to answer your question of how do you just practice artwork without being perfectionist about everything, remove comparisons, definitely. I think Sticky's right on that. Yeah, not comparing is key. Like I wishlisted, for Faceplant, thanks to Next, appreciate it. Yeah, you can wishlist Faceplant now. I haven't worked on it in a little bit. I've been working real life jobs. I've been working real life job trying to get the balance, you know. Yeah, I hope that helped a little bit, Determined Duff. I've struggled with that before, so I think as well, just don't beat yourself about it. Some days you're gonna have a day where you're practicing art and everything's gonna feel fluid and nice. Like when I used to work freelance art, there would be days where I would go and sit down to do like 8-hour days of drawing, an 8-hour full day of drawing, and I would I'd sit down to draw and everything that I was drawing was just working perfectly. It's all in perspective, you know, it all just sits right. It all is working. My line works clean, it's confident, it's solid. Literally the next day I would sit down and then nothing would work. And I don't know what that is. I don't know why that is. Sometimes it happens with art. I also find that warming up helps. If you have a nice little art warm up to get yourself in the zone, because that's a true thing. It's kind of like riding a bike or doing a workout or something. A little art warm up that you can do is like just do little doodles of characters or whatever. Something which is really low stakes. This is what I do on basically every single piece of paper that I own. Is I have doodles, you know, little doodle pages full of nothing, full of rubbish, and I just bin them, I just scrap them. It doesn't matter, you know? And that way, it kind of helps me get into the zone of like, oh, you know what? This isn't going anywhere. I'm not posting it on anything. I'm just having fun with the creation process. And then if I do that a couple of times, maybe for like 5 or 10 minutes, I'm then just like, okay, I'm ready to go. You know, I'm ready to go. Like, maybe we'll draw an actual skull this time. You can draw whatever you want. It doesn't actually matter. Maybe you'll draw a crazy skull with an eyeball coming out of it. Maybe the skull has horns now. You know? Do you know what I mean? And then it's just like, oh, that's a cool idea. Maybe the skull has a nice mouth like that, and he's eating a hot dog, actually. And look at this. I'm having fun. The nose is questionable. No. I always draw big noses. Noses to me are one of the most interesting parts of a character. I love drawing noses. I think it's because I got a big nose as well, but like there's something about drawing a character like this, right? Drawing the eyes, right? Let's draw on everything else apart from the nose. Okay, drawing the eyebrows. Look how much a nose. Hold on. Look how much a nose changes character. Okay, let's add some noses. Tell me which one of your favorite is your favorite nose. You ready? Now it's like a crazy Gru character. Now it's like a crazy Gru character. And then you do another one. Who's that? You know? And then you could go like super like that with it. Obviously clean up some of the details behind. Go crazy with the noses. It just is so fun to draw noses. It's one of my favorite parts to draw. Ears as well. I like ears, but I'm not that custom with ears. Most of the ears that I draw are the same. They're this shape, right? They are that shape with the little earlobe, right? and then I do all the way around here, and I do the little ear plop thing. That's what I call that, the ear plop. And then I just do a little Y there and color that bit in. That's how I do ears. That's enough. That's enough for ears for me. That's how I usually do them, like that. And I've just drawn that so many times that there you go. Hey, could you recommend some tips for beginner illustrators? I really want to start illustrating, but I don't know where to start. Just start. Literally. You need a project. The first thing that you're going to illustrate, Karen, sorry if I messed your name up. The first thing that you're going to illustrate is your favorite animal. Go. I'm going to do it. My favorite animal right now in this very moment is a snail. There you go. Look at that. Zero expectations. I've just drawn a snail for you. Understanding you're on your own journey, still can look at others and get inspired, but don't try to be as good as someone else. Yeah, I struggle with that a lot, which is why I don't consume as much. So I've heard a good rule as well, Sticky, I've heard a good rule about what's it called? Oh yeah, comparison and consuming. You should be creating at like a 90%, and you should be consuming at like a 10%. If you do that, and it wasn't exactly this rule, I'm like paraphrasing whatever this thing was. If you do that, this will be way more healthy, because you'll be creating so much and still getting inspired by outside external sources and stuff. Other artists. I also think it's really important to get inspired not just by art, but like everything in life, you know, everything that you've got. But yeah, you've got ears down like a signature. Yeah, I think it's just from drawing it all the time. It's the same with faces. Like I do faces the exact same way. It's always a 3/4 like view, but it always starts off with like just a random shape, right? So I can just draw like random shapes like that. It always kind of has a little dent in it in one side, because the dent represents where the eye is, or like the cheekbone starts, or the socket or something, and the other side becomes quite flat. And then from then, I can just place eyes wherever I want. So you can place eyes wherever you want, you can place features wherever you want, and then you can just start to have fun and like create crazy characters. And the more that you understand, I think that comes from, I also do mouths the same. I always do the tongue with the 2 gap teeth. That's just because I got gap teeth, and that's just my thing. But that kind of like cartoonist, good night, local cat. I've got to head out now. Sorry I couldn't stay longer. I must have to go now. My mom's starting to give out me, but it's not late. Give out to me, it's not late. Might hop on later if you're live. Good night, everyone. Hey, no worries at all, local cat. Have a great one. Have a great one. I appreciate you hanging out today. But I guess that all comes from an understanding and a practice of the ear, the way that I'm able to just draw ears very quickly, like a signature, like you said, which I think is a really nice way to put it. It comes from an understanding of the actual the anatomy underneath, like faces, for example. I understand that a face is made up of certain shapes, like spheres, for example, right? And like how to actually construct these shapes in a realistic manner, which is why I think cartoons are, in a way, harder than realism, because not only do you have to understand the realistic side of, and how proportions work and the shapes, the 3D forms of all of this, you know, you then have to apply your own style to it. You know what I mean? And that's why I think cartoons are harder in general than realism. And people don't see that. People see cartoons and they see simple shapes, but what they don't see is the understanding of anatomy. What they don't see is the understanding of everything that's underlying. People just say, aha, cartoons, kids show, blah, 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 whatever. But actually, I think it's way, way impressive when someone can draw something in a cartoony way or in their own style, which is based on fundamentals, which is proportionally correct, which is like, it's just is so impressive to me, which is why I've always tried to learn. I've always tried to get good at cartoons. Because to me, it's just incredibly impressive that it's based on something something real. And I don't think I'm the best at that, by the way. Whenever I've studied realism, my cartoons, my drawing has improved. My cartoons improve. So that's where that comes from, I think. You have to know all the rules in order to break them. I feel like I've said that on your streams before. Exactly. Yeah, you do. When they taught us the skill, the teacher literally took the erasers away. Don't be afraid of drawing without erasing. Yeah, exactly. What up, Mirai? How are you? I'm doing pretty good, thanks. Hey, man. I love the videos. Thank you, Ali. How you doing today? Well, that's probably going to be it from me, folks. Did I miss any messages here? Tell me what to draw. To end out this stream, I'm going to put on a 2-minute timer. 2-minute timer. Tell me what to draw, and I'll do it. Go, go, go. Leave some suggestions in the chat. Oh, I'm so late for sleeping. It's okay, though. It's okay. We're chilling. We're having a good time. Mario Cat UFO. Mario Cat UFO. Let's go. Come to Soultune's Discord. We have daily prompts. Yes. If you're a member of the community, if you're new to the community, make sure you join in. Okay. Mario Cat. That's funny. It's a me, Cat Mario. Kinda cool. I don't know why, right? But I kinda want to draw Mario like buff. Don't forget the muscles, folks. Whenever you're drawing something or anything, always draw. This one doesn't have muscles. One hand has muscles, the other one doesn't. And this is, you draw the freaky hand. One hand is a freak hand, one hand is a muscly, anatomically correct hand. Okay? I need to practice hands. Maybe we'll do that one day. Draw the tail. There you go. Wonder what he uses the buff hand for. Drawing. And here's the UFO trying to abduct. And in the UFO is this guy. Tape. What is wrong with this hand? Something is wrong with that hand. Put that in a bit. Let's give a bit of depth. Look at that. Shadow depth. This is art right here. Make him do a Russian dance pose. It's kind of like the what's that one? Did they put their hands on the hips? We'll do that a little bit. There you go. Done. Easy. Less than 2 minutes. No problem. And that's how you have fun with art. You just doodle. Who cares? Doesn't matter if it looks good. Doesn't matter if it looks bad. You just have fun. Also, if you learn anatomy, you can draw anything. I'm going to make a video on this eventually. If you learn anatomy, you can literally draw anything with just big muscles all of the time. And learning it is kind of like studying. It's kind of like studying, but it's also fun because then you can just draw things like this without even thinking about it. Don't forget the nipples. Don't forget the legs. Anatomically correct legs. And hands. You can tell which areas I've studied more. Legs are difficult to draw. They got like a million muscles. Something like that. And the toes. Don't forget the toes. It's a meme. Meowrio, exactly. Right, folks. Thank you all so much for hanging out. If you're not already a member of the Discord community, do so. You can post your artwork in the gallery. As our kind user has said, you can check out all of the artwork that people have been posting. We are going to post a daily challenge today. What should we post? At Daily Challenge, Friday, the 20th of October. What should we do? Let's do UFO. No, let's do dancing cat abducted by UFO. Dancing Mario. I'll do dancing cat abducted by UFO. I'll do cat abducted. I'll do dancing cat. There we go. Good luck, folks. There's your daily challenge. Nice. You only have those colors to do it within. Mario for Mario Wonder. Too late. So also, if you are wondering what the heck is going on with Faceplant, those of you who don't know, I'm working on a game at the minute called Faceplant. This is what it looks like. It's a hardcore precision platforming game where you basically run around as the little plant who is automatically moving, and you try and get to the top. All you control is the jumping. So this is what it looks like so far. I am working on it very, very slowly. I'm actually working on the next video more, but hopefully I'll have more videos in the future about this game and how the artwork's going and all that stuff. But this is how it looks so far. If you want to wishlist the game, you can wishlist the game now on Steam. You can do that right now. There you go. That is factually anatomically correct, exactly. It's a very difficult game. So if it's not your type of thing, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Was this originally going to be the Lumberjack? It was, yeah. It was originally going to be the Lumberjack, but things have changed. Things have changed. Appreciate you all hanging out today. I'll be back on next Friday. So if you have any work, this was Feedback Friday, folks. If you have any work that you'd like to share with us, your artwork, your games, whatever, next Friday we'll be taking a look at them again. Pop them in the Discord channel so that you've got time to get feedback on them, because, you know, a lot of people post and sometimes we don't get to all of them, like today. We'll check them out next week, give you some feedback, check out your stuff. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out today. Have a great rest of your night. Good night, goodbye, peace. Gav, Eddie, Chris, Majd, Rudin, Determined, Daff, Mr. Wizard, Nuna. Who else am I missing? Sticky, of course. Sticky, thank you for the raid. What a legend. Sticky's a legend, everybody. Victor, the Van, appreciate you all. Have a good one, folks. Have a good rest of your night. Peace. Peace. Sayonara. Thanks for the feedback. No worries. Great that you were safe today, and be safe. Thank you, Majd. Have a good one, Majd. Good to hear from you as always. Thanks for contributing so much to today's feedback. Goodbye. Hold on. Sticky's sharing the skull on the Discord. Share it now. Let's have a look. Be quick. You got 5 seconds. 5, 4, 4.5. Doesn't count down like that. That's not how numbers work. It's okay. We don't do numbers. We do art. In gallery, let's check it out. Oh, let's go. What the heck? This took an hour? This only took an hour? Or you mean you did this glitchy bit at the bottom here and that took an hour? This is nice. This is real nice. So you're doing like 4 different styles? I love this little guy, by the way. Did you make this little guy? It is your little guy, isn't it? Your little frog. Sick. Glitchy 1 hour? Yeah, that looks dope. That looks dope. You did a traditional as well? Come on. Living life on hard mode. That looks great. Total 3.5, worth it. Worth it. Looks really cool, Sticky. I'm gonna have to check out some more of your pieces. This one's so dope. I love the neon one the most. I wish I was neon, but I do glow because I'm bold. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Peace. See you next time.